everybody, Crystal here, also known as Scaldsbane, all across the internet. I apologize for it being a hot minute since I posted anything again. I was hoping to get back on my bi-weekly schedule, and then life happened. Let's be honest, at this point, I'm not even going to try to stick to a schedule. It just does not work for me. But I'm back with my next floss tube number, whatever the heck it is. I don't even remember. But let's get started. Okay. Right. So for May, I do remember talking to you on the last one about May plans, and I was doing Monogamous May, and I was working on the Heaven and Earth Designs Stitch Along all month. And I did. Oh, it was hard. That last week, I just really started to dislike this piece. I am doing In the Garden of Earthly Delights, which from the artwork by Hieronymus Bosch, and this is just a section of it. This is being done on, I don't remember if this is 25 or 20. Honestly, I do not remember what most of my fabrics are, but this is being done in 2/1 tent stitch with all the called fors, and I am so happy to say that I've got two little more Nikki people down here, along with the guy that's crawling over the arch there. They're my favorite parts of this piece so far, because I'm just that person. But this is where she's at by the end of May. And I am going to be picking this up at least once a week, because I am obviously behind. I should be finished with this entire... If I was going to stay on schedule, I should have been finished with that by now. I'm not. And I do want to complete the whole thing by the end of the year. It's just a personal challenge because this is the first Heaven and Earth stitch along that I have done. So I want to try and pushing myself to get that completed. But we'll see. I mean, that is 6 pages, so I will at least get to that 6-page point there and get all of the designs for the year. I just really want a couple of freebies because I'm that person. Look, if I'm going to get it, I'm going to have to work for it, and I understand this, and that's okay. All right. The next thing that I have is Beauty in the Underworld. Posted up here. The artwork is by Eder Jose Rosa, and this is from Stitches So Beautiful. This is one that I picked up immediately after working on that one, and I don't know why, because it's also on the same count fabric. Ooh, there's a thread. What are you doing, thread? Go into my Ortkeeper. Get. There we go. Because it's on the same count fabric, it's also in tent stitch, and also using all the called for colors. And I don't know why I chose this one. I think it just happened to be at hand. But the vast majority of what I had completed last time we saw this was just the black, and it does continue down here and across. So a lot of the grays and the yellows in this area is what got filled in. There is a thread hanging there, so I do need to be careful. But this whole area, you can't really see very clearly, but above my finger and down into here, that's all different. I did get a couple of stitches in on the first little skull right there. There's a couple of different colors in there. But this one is also getting some pretty good progress. It's about halfway the length down, I believe, and about halfway across as well. So this is going to be over full width. So it's getting there. But I'm kind of proud of this one. There's not a whole lot that you can see of it right now, not much of the detail, but it's there. I have discovered that working in tent stitch on the smaller or the larger count fabrics with the smaller stitches on them is actually really nice, and I enjoy doing it. So I think I'm going to, with full coverage, I'm going to be doing that more often. I do have other full coverage pieces that were done on Ada. We'll be seeing a couple of those in a moment. However, I think that's really nice. And then all these from here on out, I just pulled off the shelf of works in progress, except for one. I do have a new start. And these are all in random order, except for two that I put together because they are both for the same stitch along. Now, this is also for a stitch along. This is for the Ottomans as this side. I'm used to holding it on the other side. This is for the Ottoman is as joyful stitch along. And stop that. Oh, I didn't put the pattern up here. I am so sorry. Let me put the pattern up here. Oh my goodness. Again, this is Autumn is as Joyful. Leela's Studio. That's who did this one. Let me get my pattern keeper up so that I can. Yes, Leela's Studio. Autumn is as Joyful, and it is for the Autumn is as Joyful stitch along. And this one, I do know what fabric it's on. This is on 37 count Cloudburst Legacy Linen. I did not use all of the called for colors, so the colors are going to be a little bit different than some of the other ones that you see everywhere. But at that point, Anchor was on sale, so I did mostly Anchor. And I may have to pick up one or two DMC. But I did have that little element right there was put in, and then I only had part of the outline of the big acorn put in, but I did that, the two leaves up top, the T, and the part of the leaf down there, just because they were all in the same color that I happened to have on the needle. So there's a little bit closer look. Apologies. Lighting is not the best in here today, so you can't really see a lot of the colors in there. But I promise you they're different. They'll show up a little bit more once I'm able to get better lighting, and maybe put a couple pictures up on Instagram where you can see the differences there. I don't know. Plastic bag crackles. This is my official project bag for that one. I have project bags, but since, again, it's all on mostly Anchor, the little spools don't fit in them really well. So it only makes sense to keep that one in a plastic bag. I was talking about full coverage as well. So the next couple are full coverage. They are from Raven Stitch Craft. And the first one is Baba Yaga's Hut. This is one of the oldest pieces that I have. This one and the next one I actually started at the same time. Again, used to holding it on the other side. So this is, again, one of the oldest pieces that I currently have, oldest works in progress. And they are both from Raven Stitch Craft. They both got started at about the same time. I think I started them within a week of each other, 2 weeks of each other. And they're both progressing fairly well. And this one, again, Baba Yaga's Hut, I was hoping to have finished by last Halloween. Obviously did not get there. What stitcher ever finishes things on time? I will shake your hand right now. But let me fold this over. Most of the work that I did was filling in the grays, like on the wing and going up into the top of the hut and into the spire and actually into the roof a little bit more where I folded it over there, but a lot of those grays got put in. The vast majority of this is grayscale. The only color that's in there is the very pale pink up in the moon, which if I put it close enough you can see where I left off filling that in right there. So that's the only color on this. Now there she is right now. This is, I believe, 16 count plain white Ada, and I just used pencil to draw the lines in for the grids. And I did it really lightly. With this one in particular, I'm not worried about it showing through or washing out. The only place that it would show through is in the moon, and it's for me, so I don't care. I don't care. It's mine. I just want to do it because I can. And I'll put this. You see, I have actual project bags for most of them. Stick this back down in there. Of course, you know, this is a berry picking summer berries themed bag, which just fits with Baba Yaga so well. The next one that I have is Sleepy Hollow, again by Raven Stitchcraft. And this one, I had picked these two out. Baba Yaga is one of my favorite characters. I can't call her a creature. That would be bad, but one of my favorite characters from folklore, and one of the other halves, the man things, is the Headless Horseman. So of course I had to do one for him as well. I also use this one for Laura Stitching by the Shores Pumpkin Birthday Stitch Along. It's hashtag Pumpkin Birthday Sal, which is something she hosts every October. And this one I did pull out, and I did quite a bit of work in black right in this area here, and I filled in quite a bit of the horse's leg right here, and started coming across this direction a little bit. But you know, that's a couple days worth of work right there. This one I have no illusions about getting done anytime soon, but it is coming along. Again, this is, I believe, 16 count plain white Ada. The same thing with the putting the grids in, just light pencil lines. And they are showing up a little bit behind the moon, but that little bit should be able to wash out fairly easily. And there she is. The rest of these, as I said, I don't really have in any particular order except for the two for the stitch along. So they're just going to be coming as they come. This is the first Fancy Lady, the first Mirabilia I have ever started. I do have another one. This one is Lady of Mystery. My brain. This one is Lady of Mystery, and the other one that I have is, I think, Lady in Red. I'll know what it is, obviously, when I pull the pattern out and start working on it. But this is what it looks like. I did change up the fabric. All of the flosses, the silk, and DMC are the called for, but I did change up the fabric. This is a linen that I got from Forbidden Fiber Co. that was in a mystery pack, and you can see almost all of the stitching that I've gotten completed. There it is. It's actually, you cannot see the color at all in this. It's being completely washed out, but it is a nice light green that I thought went really well with everything. What I did on this one was all of the work on her skin. I've got her arm there and her back and most of her face complete there. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but there we go. It helps a little bit. Oh, what if I move it on this side? Get a slightly better light? Nah, not any better lighting. I tried. You can kind of see her a little bit better, but she'll obviously stand out more once I get the bouquet of flowers up here and all of the outline, because there is a stitched outline around her and her dress and everything. It'll show a little bit better. But this is the same count, I believe 32 count linen that was called for on the pattern. And it was the right size and the right count, and I thought it would look good. I did a floss toss and thought it would look really good with the flosses involved. So that's what happened there. It was a good place to be able to use a fabric that I had on hand instead of having to go and purchase more, which is always good, being able to use from stash. And go from there. And now the two that I have that were put together for a reason. Laura's stitching by the shore, and I started the hashtag Lena Ova Sal. And I am terrible about posting any updates or pictures or hashtags or anything anywhere. But I am working on 2 Lena Ova pieces for the Lena Ova Sal. I know there are a number of people who are also stitching along with us, and if you want to, you are absolutely welcome. Please do. And tag me. Tag Laura. She wants to see too. We're both really interested in seeing what everybody's doing. But the 2 that I'm doing, this one that I'm going to show now, Dracula by Lena Ova, is the one that actually got Laura interested in the Lena Ova patterns. And this is what it looks like so far. So I was working on this, and Laura reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to stitch something together? And I was like, yes, let's do this. And I told her, that I was looking at a couple of other patterns, and she happened to pick Mary Poppins, and I also happened to pick Mary Poppins, which is the next one I'm going to show you. And we started Mary Poppins together. She's doing it differently than I am, so please check her out if you're not already watching, and you should be. But this is the one that got her interested. This is, as I said, this is Dracula, and I'm stitching this a little bit differently. This is on, this one has a tag, Mystic Fabrics. Misty is amazing. If you are able to get anything that she does, absolutely do. This is Opal Lugana in the colorway Olympia. It's a 32 count. Thank goodness for tags. And you can't really see the sparkle back there, but if I pull it up here, you can see it, or I can see it on the screen, so I'm assuming you can. And the floss is Hocus Pocus by Night Stalkers Calling, available on Etsy. The Hocus Pocus, I got 10 skeins of the Hocus Pocus and realized that I should have gotten at least 11, if not 12. So part of it is being stitched, and you can see the difference. Let me fold this here. I'll pull it up close. You can see where I switched from 2 strands over 2 to 1 strand over 2, but I like that look. So part of it's going to be stitched in 2 strands, part of it's going to be stitched in 1 strand, and I like the way that it makes it look worn, and it looks like it was not necessarily purposely done that way, but it got worn out in places. So I'm going to be taking the 2 and switching between the 2 as I work on the piece itself. And I've also been considering doing specific parts, specific bits of it in just plain 310 as well, to make them stand out a little bit more. Specifically, one of the things I was looking at was the silhouette of Dracula, because, hello, obviously. I mean, kind of the whole the whole theme here is it's all about Dracula. But I'm also wondering if that would make it stand out too much because it is such a big part of the pattern. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Really, what do you think? Do you think that I should do the entirety of the silhouette of Dracula? Do you think it would be too much? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to finish the entire right side and then go over to the other side with Dracula on it. Unless I do the whole border and then go. These are the decisions for tomorrow, me. But if you want to give input, I would greatly appreciate it. Let's put it that way. All right. And then also, again, I said I was going to pull out Mary Poppins. These are the two that I put together for this particular reason. And this is the one that Laura is doing. I know we're both using 939 for the stitching, DMC 939. She's doing it on a different fabric and stitching it differently than I am. This is on pistachio, 16 count pistachio fiber on a whim. And whoop, other side. This is where I am. I am doing the entire border and everything else. And this is almost the full width of what the piece will be. So I'll have almost, but not quite, another entire half of the fabric to work on, which I am thrilled about. I stitch in hand and I find it to be a little bit soft for my taste, and it's easy to distort the stitches if you're not careful, or at least for me. But I don't mind that at all. I know it does bother some people. I don't mind it at all. But I am doing the full border where I got to over here in this border across the not work border right here is what I worked on this time, and that is the edge of the centerpiece. So it would be at the width of the border on this side over here, and then the width of, that 3 inches to be able to finish it. And that's going to be the entire width. And it's basically a square, so it'll be about the same height as well. The modeling on the fabric is never quite what it shows on the camera. It's not quite as stark as this, but it's turning out really well. I've been really enjoying working on this. And I do highly recommend all of the Lena Ova patterns. You can pull out smaller pieces of them, like for example, if I wanted to do just a small for somebody, I could very easily, or anybody could very easily just pull out Bert. And that's okay. For me, that's a small. I'm not saying this is small for everybody, but just to be able to pull out like that square and just do Bert, or even pull out just the little moon into a little bitty ornament or keychain or something similar like that. They're very good patterns for that. And I've really been enjoying working on them, both this one and Dracula. I think I'm going to enjoy Dracula a little bit more after I get past the square with the words. Can't lie. Doing words and letters is not my favorite thing in the world, which is very funny because the last two I have to show you are both samplers. Good job, me. You deserve a pat on the head for doing things. Yeah. Okay. Next to last is the Sally Kratos sampler. This one is for my personal stitch along that I started in January. I tell people all the time I was not born, I spawned. I actually talked to my mom on her birthday at the end of May, and I told her, I don't tell people. I tell people I wasn't born. I just kind of spawned And she said, yep, sounds about right. So I have full agreement from Mom there. Hi, Mom, if you're watching. Also, hi the rest of the family that we just rediscovered, if you're watching. I still live. Life has been hectic, but I still live. But yes, the Sally Credit Sampler. And I started this one for the spawning Sal. Again, because I wasn't born, I spawned. So to celebrate the day of my spawning, I'm asking people to build a house with me. So anything with a house in it. And that is to help manifest that we get out of this apartment and into an actual house. There's more on that. There will be more on that after the stitching is complete, if you are interested in hearing a little bit about that. But this is where I have gotten to so far. Last time I did not have all of the yellow in here. I did not have the AD, and I had not started down here. So I finished putting in, let's see, I was halfway through the word sampler. And exemplar, and finished going this direction to the left on both of those lines, and again started working down from there into this area. The pattern as it was charted, it does not use these colors. I pulled these colors, I chose these colors as what I thought perhaps might have been used on the original sampler in the bright colors instead of the more faded colors that makes it look older, just because I like the bright colors in samplers. I think they're beautiful. It's what the original stitcher would have used, and it's just what I prefer. This is on, it looks like 32, possibly 34 count linen that I got off of a D-Stash page. I've forgotten what it's called. I apologize. If you are interested, I do have that information written down, and I'd be more than happy to let you know. Just let me know in the comments that you're interested and want the information, and I will definitely put it out there. And all of the stitching is done in Avara Swa Silk. That's where she is. And there are, a couple of more lines before I get down into where the house and the little, I think it's a church, is. I'm not going to pull the pattern out because it's just the pattern. There's no cover photo on it, so I'm not going to do that. And then we have a combination of shopping. Don't tell the other half, who is theoretically taking a nap but is probably listening to me record, and the new start. So I've been talking about, and again inspired by Laura, I've been talking about and thinking about doing the my brain. I apologize. Jardin Privé. The Jardin Privé Seasons samplers. And I've been trying to slowly gather the supplies to do that, because I did want to do similar, not exactly the same, but similar floss on all of them, and then different background fabrics. And it just wasn't coming together, and then I stopped in at the local needlework shop not too long ago, and I've been working with them, and I bought some stuff that I wasn't supposed to buy, but I did anyway. And so I've got a new start, and this is I'm not even going to try to say it in French because I don't speak French and it would just be terrible. But this is the summer, and that is also my new start. This is being done with one of the fabrics that I picked up, one of the linens that I picked up on the other side, and one of the flosses that I picked up. And again, it's not showing well. It's not showing the color well at all. It's just totally washed out. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the best light so that you can see what's going on there. Yeah. I'm not going to get good light on it. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. But that is essentially, and I've been working on this for 2 days straight just because I have been really, really enjoying this one. So I think I'm just going to zoom through these guys. That is where this one is at. And this is, again, I stopped at the local shop, which is Needle Orts. It's the same shop that the Sweetwater Stitcher tends to go to. We are within a similar area, and that's about all I know. Can't pinpoint any further than that, but yeah, we have the same local needle shop. And I picked up this and the floss as well. The floss is... Let me grab the bag. Do I still have the label? No. It's not. I threw the label for the floss away. Why would I keep a label that, tells me exactly what I'm working with? The floss is 2WX, evidently. Let me open up this. This is the exact same. I got 2 of the same because I got 1 for each of the seasons. Let me see if I can pull this open. Threadworks. I can't pull it open. What am I doing? Y'all, I'm having problems. This is normal. Nope, it's just not gonna. Threadworks 1147. Threadworks 1147, and it's very similar to the other one that I got, which is 10302, also Threadworks. Very, very similar. Let me pull up here. I'll use this one. So they are essentially the same, but one is slightly darker than the other. I'm using the slightly darker one for the summer and winter, just because it looks better on the fabrics that I picked out. And the summer is obviously on the green. This is for the spring, and this is 28 count. They're all 28 count. Cashel Periwinkle. This is going to be for the spring. It's much more purple than this, I promise. The lighting and the colors are just not working today. I'm not sure why. And then for winter, this is evidently this is Belfast linen, and this is evidently from a local dyer, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's got more purples in it than what's showing. But this is for the winter, and this is a 32 count Belfast linen. But look at that, isn't she so pretty? And for autumn, this is the first one that caught my eye out of all of them. And it should tell you everything you need to know that you already don't about my personality. It's also, they're all 32 count. This is also a Belfast linen. And it's metallic copper. And it was the most wonderful and obnoxious, and I need more in my life just because reasons, not for any particular anything, but just because reasons, and that reason is that it exists in the same world that I do. But this is the one that autumn is going to be done on. So those are my plans for that. Now, plans as far as actual stitchy plans for things coming up, I'm going to continue pulling random things off of the shelf for the next 2 weeks, and rephrase, until the end of June. When July starts, I've decided to do Christmas in July this year, so I'm going to be putting everything else away and start working on nothing but Christmas projects. I do have all of those stockings that I need to get done, so that's going to be a huge part of that. I'm just working on those stockings. They're definitely not going to get done for this year. It's just not happening. However, that's what July is going to be, and that's as far as I've gotten with plans. And if you know me, that's actually a lot of planning. That is planning ahead, as I know what I'm going to be working on next month. Woo! And this is my life. If you are just here for stitchy stuff, I know it's fairly short, but that's it. Thank you for coming along for the ride. I would like to see everything you're working on. Feel free to tag me in things. It's at Scoldsbane here, Scoldsbane on Instagram. My email, if you want to chat via email, is scoldsbane@gmail.com. I'm literally Scoldsbane pretty much everywhere. So if that's what you're here for, is just the stitchy, then thank you so very much for coming in and joining me. I appreciate having you along. If you're interested in a little bit of life stuff, absolutely stick around. It's going to be short this time, like really short. And it's good news for the most part, and I'm getting into that right now. Okay, so I believe I told you all last time that I started a new job, and it's at a different company, and it has been an experience. I have been working in various contact and call centers for a number of years now. This is not different. This is still at a contact center, but it's much better than any other one I have ever worked at. I am still in training because I had to drop out of training and then come back. I lost my voice for 6 weeks, which is not good when working at a call center. I had an allergic reaction while on site and went on leave. And I came back, and there was another training class that was at the exact point as my class was when I had to leave. So I just jumped back in with a new class. I'm a little bit disappointed because the training classes don't work on holidays, so I missed working on Juneteenth. Today is the 21st, so I missed working on Juneteenth. I will miss working on July 4th, and I really want to work the holidays. There's reasons, but I do want to work the holidays. But my first day of being on my permanent schedule is going to be July 6th. And I'm excited about it. So that's amazing. That's good. And with the new job and the better benefits and the better pay than anything I've had for the last mumbledy number of years, we are starting to get caught up on everything. All of the credit cards that I had that were maxed out and then some are no longer above limit, and everything is on automatic payments now, and like we're disciplined in getting that down, which is amazing. So that means things are going to be able to open up a little bit more, and I'm going to be able to do more with all the stitching and all the crafts and everything, and it's exciting. We went out to breakfast today, and we ate out, and it was great. And we were talking about going camping, which we haven't been able to do in a long time. So this is all good and exciting. Let's see, what else is going on? Yeah, it's good and exciting. My little garden that I have I use storage tubs. Wrong side. Storage tubs about this size, and that's what I'm using for my garden. I drilled holes in the bottom and put in potting soil. I've been getting tomatoes. I've been getting, the pumpkin is growing and taking over the entire side of the apartment building along the ground. Like I've had to trail it behind the bushes and through, and It's had blossoms for a couple of months now, so hopefully we'll be getting pumpkins here very shortly. The roses are blooming. I took pictures of a dragonfly earlier this morning when I was out watering it. So life is good. Life is good. The man thing is doing much better overall in general. You know, he had some minor health issues where he wasn't feeling very well, and he's doing much better. We are still continuing to go to the gym, which we slacked on today because we went out to breakfast, and we went to a local diner, and we were expecting, you know, little bougie diner, and we walked in, and so we ordered expecting bougie diner, and we got plates of, this is what you put in front of somebody when they're going to go out and be farming all day or working in a factory all day. Very blue collar for a lot of everything. And we literally ate until we started to feel nauseous, and we still brought home leftovers. So we skipped the gym today. And basically that's it. It's just been great. Life is good. Life is good. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Again, thank you everybody for coming along, spending some time with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you have an amazing week, too, whatever, until my brain stops running in circles enough for me to be able to sit down and record again.